So in this unit, we're working on transformations, and the first rigid transformation, where an object does not change size or shape, are called the translations. So I have a picture here of a triangle PQR in black, and its image P prime, Q prime, R prime that has been translated. So I have some questions on that. First, describe the transformation in words. Then I'd like you to write the rule using the correct notation. And finally, I'd like you to write the coordinates of the image. And the image is the one with P prime, Q prime, R prime. So you should press pause, try and answer these questions, and then press play again and see how you did. Okay, so we want to describe the transformation in words. So let me take, let's say, point P, and let's go to P prime. First, let's go in the X direction, so that means left or right. So we would have to move P to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units to the right. So 8 units to the right. And then we have to move it in the Y direction, and that's up or down. So we have to move this down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 units down. Now it doesn't matter if you say 5 units down and 8 units to the right, or if you say 8 units to the right and then 5 units down. It doesn't really matter, but generally when we plot points, we say the X number first and then the Y. So it's a good habit to get into to state the X direction first and then the Y direction. Okay, the next thing says write the rule using correct notation. Now when you write the rule for this, you always start off the same way. You write X comma Y, so that represents a point, and then an arrow, and then we have to figure out what did we do. Well, we went 8 units to the right, so that means we added 8 units to the X. So we're going to write X plus 8, comma. And then in the Y direction, we went 5 units down, so that's subtracting 5 from the Y, so Y minus 5. And so that's how you write the correct notation. All right, the third thing says write the coordinates of the image. Now, when you're listing coordinates, so now we don't even have to worry about the original. The image is what we get afterwards, and you know which one's the image because of the little tick marks, P prime, Q prime, and R prime. All right, so let's start with P. P's coordinates are 1, comma 2. So I'm going to write P prime, 1, comma 2. Next I'll do Q prime. And so for Q, it was 1, 2, positive 3 in the X, 1, 2, negative 3 in the Y. So that was 3, comma, negative 3. And then the R prime, for those coordinates, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, positive 7 in the X, positive 6 in the X, sorry, and then 1 in the Y. So we went 6 to the right and 1 up. So that's 6, comma 1. And there we go. So how did you do on that? Hopefully you did well. All right, so it's a short lesson today because we're just going to continue what we've learned about translations. So write the coordinates obtained after the translation. So we have the points A, B, and C. And then what we're going to do is we want to take each of those and move it 4 units to the left and then 2 units up. So you could draw a graph, and you could do this on a graph, but it's going to take you some time. You really don't need to do that. So first let's look at 4 units left. That's in the X direction, and to the left in the X direction is going to be minus or negative. So that means I need to subtract 4 from my X numbers. So underneath here, I'm going to subtract 4 from all the X coordinates. All right, then we want to do 2 units up. That's the Y direction. And up would be adding 2. We're going up by 2. So under all my y coordinates, I'm going to add 2. And so I think if you follow that pattern, it's easy to figure out what the answer is going to be. Now, we don't write a, we write a prime, because that's the new image. We're going to do negative 5 minus 4 is negative 9, and 1 plus 2 is 3. For b, it's going to become b prime. And for the x's, we have negative 2 minus 4, which is negative 6. And then negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. And finally, c prime, we're going to do 3 minus 4 is negative 1, and 7 plus 2 is 9. And that's it. Easy enough. So we don't even need to have a graph to figure this out. All right, write the notation for the following transformation. We want to take every point from a picture and we want to move it 5 units up and 8 units to the right. All right, so remember the notation. We always start off the same way. X comma y and an arrow. That means we're going to take every point, x comma y, and we're going to move it with this rule. And the rule is going to be what? Now, this one's a little tricky because they don't give it to you in order. The x direction is left or right. So, which one of these tells us the x direction? This one. 8 units to the right. So that means we're going to be adding 8. So I'm going to keep that same color. Plus 8. Oops. And then a comma. Not a parentheses. All right. And then what about the y? Well, you go back and read here. It's 5 units up. So that means we're going up. That's the y direction. And so up is adding. So we're going to add 5. And that's it. So just be careful. They don't always give it to you in order. So the first thing they tell you might be the x or it might be the y. It depends. So maybe that's a good thing to write here. So in the x direction, it's left, which would be a negative, or it's right, which means a positive. And in the y direction, it's up, which is positive, or down, which is negative. And that's it. Okay, so the assignment is pretty easy. There's just 2 pages on translations, and that's all in Schoology for you.